Okay, we are live on New Year's Day. Today is 1/1/2024, a new year. So let's make this an awesome year. Yesterday, I did a live stream showing you how to use ChatGPT and Poe and how to use a simple prompt to get what you want, to get like an article or pros and cons to your question. So today, we're going to use another one, and we're just going to be using ChatGPT to start with, and then we're gonna finish and have a whole article written in Content at Scale. So let's get started. Let me share my screen. Okay, so we're sharing my screen. Let's start here. Okay, so today's theme is a hoarding cleanup service is the theme. Okay, so we have a client in several places on the West Coast, on the East Coast, in the middle, that do hoarding cleanup. And in fact, I used to do it in my own company, Ameridry. We did hoarding cleanup. And so I know a little bit about this, or I know a lot about it. We did this for 27 years, along with water and fire and mold and roofing and all that. But today's subject is hoarding cleanup is the theme, okay? So here's a simple prompt right here. Share strategies for creating content that educates and empowers your audience. Who doesn't want to do that? And I can also write it as your or my. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get a similar response. So we're going to start with this one, and I've already done this. So we're going to go through what I did. Okay, so let's just go over here to ChatGPT. You can see I started right up here with share strategies for creating content that educates and empowers your audience. Okay, so great. Creating content that educates and empowers your audience is a valuable approach to foster engagement and loyalty. So here's some strategies. Understand your audience. Before creating content, of course, you need to know who your audience is. So in this case, my audience would be people that can't help but be in hoarders, right? They don't want to get rid of anything. They don't want to throw anything away. And it's something they just can't help, right? So when you see these homes like we did in the past, you got to be very compassionate with people, because this is something that they just can't help. It's as important to them as it is breathing air for you and I. Okay, so when you know that, and you know that the person can't help it, you don't go in there and prejudge people or judge them when you see the home. You just know that they need your help. So we go in and we help them with this. Provide value and solve problems. Of course, we got to have value, and solving the problem is getting rid of the clutter or organizing it better for that client. While being very compassionate, because remember, anytime you pick something up, they're in a panic, right? Because you're getting rid of it. Use relatable examples and stories. Who doesn't want to do that, right? Like real life examples. Use real life examples. Interview your client. These are real life examples that you can get from them. Incorporate various learning styles. When my story, I flunked kindergarten. I did really bad in school because I couldn't learn the way they taught back in, this late 60s and 70s, right? Early 60s and 70s. I'm 66 years old as of today, and I'll be 67 in April. So I was in school when they didn't know how to teach people that had ADHD, right? Or bipolar. I had all of those. And I didn't know this until I was in my 30s and got diagnosed with those by my wife was trying to fix me in my 30s. She has this husband. She wants to fix him. It didn't work. Okay. So anyway, so there's different learning styles. Like I like to learn visually. I love YouTube videos. They can teach you everything. So we go on, and we got all of this on our first try without adding hoarding yet. Okay. So once I get that, my next question is right here. Can you expand on the 10 sections using hoarding cleanup as a service? Now I'm going to incorporate hoarding. I could have done it up here, right? I just want to go through this because if you're new at this, I want to show you. You can start with a general question, and then ChatGPT will give you ideas of how to do this. And then my next question is, I'm going to add this into the service, hoarding cleanup as a service. Certainly expanding on the strategy for creating content that educates and empowers your audience, specifically tailored to the context of hoarding cleanup services right here. Now it's writing, understanding your audience in hoarding cleanup. Identify the unique needs and challenges of individuals dealing with hoarding issues, right? Include emotional and psychological aspects. That's really big with this. Recognize that your audience may include not just the individuals directly affected by hoarding, but also family members. You know, when we would get jobs for hoarding cleanup, 99% of the time it was a daughter, a son, somebody in the family that was worried about their other family member that was a hoarder because it was dangerous. It was a fire hazard. It was, when you start hoarding, you can get insects and mice and rats and all that kind of stuff when you have all this clutter, piled up. So, we know how to work this. And then it answered all these questions. Okay. Use relatable examples. Here it is. Share success stories of individuals who overcame hoarding challenges, right? Like some of our past clients when I was in it. Use case studies to illustrate how different strategies were applied in various scenarios, emphasizing both the process and the positive outcomes. It's very important to be discreet when you're using videos, of course, but you can use video without showing where the property is located or who the person is, of how we do our job or how you do your job if you're an actual hoarding cleanup service. Corporate various learning styles. We would do videos, we would do content, we do pictures, list of goals, infographics, right? All of that stuff, because you don't know how somebody's going to learn. And then, of course, you're going to put it in different places like Google ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads. You might even put some ads in, TikTok, things like that. You might go, other companies that don't do hoarding, you can use LinkedIn and you can share your experience and work with other contractors like carpet cleaners and house cleaners, services like that would give you the work, right? They would give you like a job that might be hoarding before they can even clean the house. The clutter needs to be cleaned up. You can share in the love with this client and helping this client out. You do the hoarding, they do the cleanup, right? It works really well when you have people like that referring you, okay? And then I go on and it writes a little bit more, but then I want to write something like this right here. Now, can you use the above 10 expanded sections and write a paragraph explaining how the hoarding cleanup service works for each of the sections? Absolutely. Now it's going to give me this information. You see, I'm continuing with what I need from them. I'm asking them the question. I'm asking ChatGPT the question, and it's giving me the answer. So here we go. Now the service begins with a compassionate. That's a big word, compassionate, right? You need to understand the client's unique situation. They have a disease. It's no different than being an alcoholic or a drug addict, right? Heroin addict. You can't stop, man. It's as important as air to you. So now you have all this, and then you go on, and we get all this stuff. And then I started with here. From the above, can you write 10 pros to hoarding cleanup and 10 cons? So now I got even more information. I got the 10 pros now. I'm going to add all this stuff. I can add all this stuff to a blog post. When I write it in Content at Scale, I may not have the pros and the cons. I can add this to my actual blog when I'm done. Okay, and this actually gives me room for more keywords also, right? Like I can incorporate this before I even upload it into Content at Scale once my blog is written, the pros and cons. So, and then we have 10 cons, of course. So it tells me, privacy concerns, time consuming, loss of control. This is a big one for hoarders, right? Overwhelming decisions, stigma and shame, disposal dilemmas, right? All this is conflict with helpers, misunderstandings and conflicts arise with family members or professionals assisting in the cleanup. There's certain things that the hoarder is not going to want removed, right? It's very valuable to them. In fact, everything in their home is valuable to them. So you got to be very careful of how you approach this. Okay, then I wrote this. So I'm done with all this. And I wrote, please use all the data above to write an article for a local Fort Myers, Florida hoarding cleanup service company called Pro Remedy of Southwest Florida. That's one of my clients, which needs to persuade the local public that they are the best choice for a hoarding cleanup service company. If you do a great job, I'll give you a tip. I told you this yesterday. This is kind of cool because, ChatGPT understands tips and rewards. So I just throw that in. Maybe they'll do a better job if they think they're going to get a tip, right? Of course, I'm not going to tip a software, but it's just the idea that it sees this and tries to do a better job. Okay, so here we go. Here's the title. Pro Remedy of South Florida, your compassionate partner for hoarding cleanup. Introduction. In the serene landscape of Fort Myers, Florida, where the calm of the Gulf meets the bustling life of the city, there lies a challenge often hidden behind closed doors. Absolutely. Hoarding. So now it's gonna write me a paragraph, these paragraphs for each one of these. At Pro Remedy, we begin by understanding you. That's right. So it wrote me a paragraph. And then what I did is I copied this. So I took this, and I can still use all of this up here. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of really good information I can use. And I can even take this and I can say, okay, has anybody written anything about this? And we did this yesterday. I just grab this. I'll go into my Copyscape real quick, and I'm just going to look at it. I'm just going to see, is anyone else using this content, or is this like unique content? And no one, no results. Okay, so there we go. That's perfect. Let me get out of that. All right, then I'm going to go to content at scale, and I'm going to go to my projects. So I'm going to do an actual blog post now. This is Pro Remedy right here. All right, so now we're going to write a post. And let me show, I've already created a PDF right here. You can see the PDF. I copied it, created a PDF, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a document. Instead of a keyword or existing blog or post, I'm going to do a document. And I'm going to go next. And I'm going to drag my document. See, I can do DOCX, PPTX, PDFs. I have a PDF. Let me grab this PDF and see if this works. I'm doing this live. So hopefully this works. In my target keyword, add real-time research from Google for SEO. Absolutely. Hoarding cleanup. HOARD. Hoarding cleanup. Service company. All right. I don't need to add any additional context. I have this right here. And now a tag. I'm not going to add any tags right now. I'm just going to go and I'm going to write the post from this, what I just did in ChatGPT. So now what's going to happen is I'm in there, right? And you can see it's in queue right here. See right here? This is in queue. So what's going to happen now is we got to wait, and this could take 10 minutes or something. And since this is live, when you watch the video, you can fast forward past this, but we got to wait to see what we get here. So in the meantime, I continue to refresh this to see when it is, right? In queue. It's probably going to be quicker today because it's Labor Day. It's not Labor Day. It's, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, man. It's the 1st of January. It's Happy New Year. All right. So it's not Labor Day. I don't know where that came from, but when you're live, you make mistakes, right? So anyway, we're in the queue, and once it's ready out of queue, you'll see a green bar here, and it'll start building out the content. But how did I start this? I started it with this right here. I just came up with a prompt. I asked a simple question. Share strategies for creating content that educates and empowers your audience. I took that one thing there, as I showed you right here, and I started with this. Now, if I was doing a real project, I might start like this. I might want to know what I need to ask, right? ChatGPT or Poe or any of them. I didn't go into Poe today because of time, and I don't, I want to do this so you can see how it works here. I showed you yesterday, you can use Poe, you get different results, right? You can use them all. It's all great. Content at Scale is my favorite software out there for creating blog posts, of course, because it does the whole thing. It's still in the queue. So, I went with this. I went in there. I started reading all this. I started seeing what it wanted me to do. You know that I can actually go in here, instead of saying, can you expand on the 10 sections? I can start with, can you expand on number 1, understand your audience and write at least 550 words. So if I went in there and if I went in here and I did that, see, I can copy here. I can give it, yeah, I love what it did. I don't need to put any feedback in. But anyway, I could just ask it to write 550 words for this right here, right? Understand your audience. So if I went in there and I said, can you write at least, can you write it 550 words $550. I usually write it out plus I put this in parentheses, the actual number words for write an article with at least 550 words for number 1 above. And then what I'm going to do, I'm asking it a question. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in parentheses, number 1. So I'm going to do that right there. Let me go back one. And let's see what happens. Paste. And right here. Okay. So let's see if it'll do it. Remember, I'm doing this live, so I'm not sure. Well, this isn't exactly what I wanted, but let's see what it gives me. Assessing knowledge level, creating relevant and target content. This would be really good for like an agency to write this stuff. Feedback. So the very first thing is about the audience, right? Understanding your audience. So what it did, it gave me a whole lot more about understanding my audience. Now I can go down here and I can grab all this and put it under number 1. I wouldn't say introduction. Well, I might. Then the importance of audience insight, identifying your audience, understanding interests and challenges, so on and so forth. So I would read through this. Of course, I'm going to optimize it. And I might even add this. I would add this to number 1. And then let's see where we're at here. Oh, it's in the queue. See where it's not a green line. It's a blue line. So we're nearly, that looks like about a third of the way right there. Let's refresh. We're about a third of the way. So we'll have it here pretty soon. So if I go back, I would just grab this. I would read it, right? I don't just start throwing things in there. I read it first. And that's what my writers do. I have a lot of writers. I don't write anymore. I have plenty of writers that do all this kind of work now for us at Top Click Joe. But, you know, what they do is they read it and they make it personal and they separate sentences, right? Because people aren't going to read big clumps of content. You got to separate it. Put some white space in there and do it that way. And if all this looks good, I'll add it to number 1. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab this and say number 2. I'm going to grab this, say number 3, 4, 5, all the way to 10. Now I'm going to have a whole bunch of content, right? And then I might grab all that content, put it in content at scale. Okay. And then I would, oh, it's ready. Well, it's almost ready. Let's see, because this needs to be black. We're close. Come on. As soon as it's all the way ready, we'll see a score. And we'll see how many words it created. Okay, so we're almost there. It's driving me nuts. All right, give it a few more minutes. It's not quite ready. It needs to get ready right here, right? Okay, so I'm going to open in a new link real quick. Oh, there's nothing there. That's what I thought. Okay, it's not ready yet. Come on. All right, soon. All right, let's go back here a second. Let's give it a minute because I want to see this and I want to show you what we just did by spending just a few minutes on ChatGPT. like a few minutes. We created something for ourselves. I could have added a lot more. I usually would if I'm doing this. A lot of times we use ChatGPT and just put the keyword in, give it a little bit of direction. We don't even have to go through this. But I want you to learn how to use some of this software. That's what this podcast, AI for the Underdog, is all about, is teaching you, how to use the different types of software like ChatGPT and Poe, and, all the ones where you can do pictures and things like that. And, it's getting crazy out there now how good of a picture you can get with AI now. It's kind of crazy how good it looks. We just did this one. We're working on this. Here's one that we're working on. I work with a solar company, and this isn't what we're going to write here, but I wanted a picture of the solar hooked to the sun, because that's where it gets its energy, from the sun. It's free, right? It's hooked into it. So this is a start of something we were working on. I wanted to get one about a cat a while ago, because somebody wanted to show a cat, and I did this cat, and it was really good. Here's another one that we did this is a video. This is AI.
Podcast where omnipresence marketing meets AI wizardry. I'm your AI host, here to navigate the world of artificial intelligence.
Look how cool that stuff is. It's unbelievable what we can do with AI these days if you know how to use it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find the cat. It's actually how we came up with our AI for the Underdog logo. It was all AI that did this for us. Now, then I gave it to my graphic artist, and he fixed it up a little bit, but it was mostly done, and then we redid some of the content so it was bigger. But it did a really good job. So I can't seem to find that one picture. I know it's here. I create a lot of pictures though. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this was one cat. Look how good that is. And so what I wrote was, draw me a cat in a tutu, wearing a hat, on a bike, going down a scary mountain road. And that's what it gave me. And then the second one is this. My wife likes this one because she likes the pink, right? So this is really cool that AI did this. So now you don't even need to be an artist anymore, pretty much. All right, let's go in there and see. Now it's ready. Okay, we already got a 78 score. Because we usually get a lower score because we start with a keyword or something, but because we started with the content from ChatGPT, it gave me a score, and now it wrote a whole blog post for me. It did a table of content. I already got a 78. I just got to put a little work into it I'm already in the green. I'm going to put a little work in there, get 85, 90, right? That's all about the keywords. This is saying the normal stats are around 2,400 words. We have 2,700. I wouldn't worry about that. Our score is going to go up once we add photos. Okay, so now we got this. So our slug is Hoarding Cleanup Service Company. Great. Discover, and here's our meta description, right here. And so our meta description is discover how Pro Remedy, a leading hoarding cleanup service company, compassionately restores order to homes with tailored decluttering and sanitation. Awesome, right? Here's our title, Pro Remedy, your trusted hoarding cleanup service company. Absolutely. Now we got the keyword, hoarding cleanup service company. All that's there, right? And it starts out. And so what we usually do is we'll grab this, we'll go in here, and like I said, we'll separate sentences, okay? And then we'll start doing things like, okay, so because we're using Grammarly in here. And it kind of shows us, if we need to add a word. But look what just happened when I separated. I lost some of my score because it liked it all together. But I'll get that score back because you got to have white space, all right? And you got to show. And so we go through each one of these step-by-step decluttering assistance, interactive and responsive cleanup services. Look at that. I even have a key takeaway. And I don't even have my photos in here. When I start adding photos and I start looking at, plan is crafted, and, I start cleaning it up a little bit. That's what our writers are doing. They do interviews with our client, so they know a lot about their personal experience, and they'll add that to this right here. So we'll start doing all that. And look, there's 2,700 words here. I mean, it showed us, how many words we had. And look at this. This is crazy. Okay, so that's that. All right, so now we got that. Once we're done with this, we can upload it. So I'm showing the research. Here's the research. Click here to download the PDF. I got my PDF. I can even rewrite this if I don't like it. I don't have any media yet, so there's nothing in there. And the history is no history found because I'm not in here. The history would be one of my team members that are in here, what you'd see their name. And so I know what they're doing and how much stuff they did. So now I start here, and now I can scroll down, and these are all the keywords, right? Here's NLP. If you want to, what is NLP? You can go look it up yourself, and there it is right here. It's going to show you, learn what about NLP. And so it tells you what is it? It's natural language processing. So it's trying to make it sound like natural language, not like a robot. Okay. So we know we can do that. So I can look at those, right, and see what it says. And now it gives me some more content ideas, and it gives me all this, right? This is unbelievable. Look at all you get with content at scale, and all you can do is crazy. And so this is telling me, so let me just show you. Hoarding Cleanup Service Company, it's saying I need that keyword in there 12 to 37 times. Well, you know, when we're in ChatGPT and I had all those pros and cons and stuff, I can start adding that to the bottom. I can add it to the bottom. I'm not going to use conclusion. We're going to write a keyword in here for our conclusion, but we're going to have the pros and cons in there, and that's going to get me up to 12 or more keywords here. So then my score is going to go up. Hoarding Cleanup. This is saying I have it too many times, right? 16 times. I need to have it 3 to 12 times. Okay, I can fix that. And you can do like you can go and you can look for those words in here and then take them out, right? If you want to. And so I start looking, hoarding, cleaning. Okay, it says 1 to 2 times. That would be easy to go in here and change one of these to hoarding, cleaning. So you see what I mean? ChatGPT already did the research. It knows all the top competitors and what they did, right? And so it shows us what we need to do, right? And so we can start adding a lot of these keywords. We can look at our checklist. Category chosen. Well, we need to choose a category. First paragraph includes primary keyword. It doesn't. So all I have to do in this first paragraph right here is write that in. And so our primary keyword is hoarding cleanup. Okay. So remember we went in there, hoarding cleanup service company. That was our keyword. So I would just ever walked into a room so packed with stuff that you couldn't find the floor. Let's talk about, imagine if this was your house, your whole house. That's where Hoarding Cleanup Service Company, it is in there. They're wrong. Oh, I separated it. So it's not in the first paragraph. So if I go back, watch what's going to happen. If I go back, my score should go up. Well, it didn't go up. Let me refresh. I just went back. Let me refresh. Okay, so it didn't do it yet. The checklist. It's in the first paragraph. It just hasn't caught up yet. Sometimes there's a little glitch, but it's not a big deal. I know I have it in there. Hoarding Cleanup Service Company. So anyway, how about, let's go look at this real quick. Let me look at this keyword, hoarding cleanup. Okay, I get it. Let's go in here and take out the hyphen. Let's do that. Okay, so now let's look at it because I took hoarding cleanup. Okay, so it's in there. See how it's green now? Now it's green because I took the hyphen out. So it's looking at things like that, but the correct spelling is clean up. Now, if I would have made the keyword have the hyphen, I know even though I have an X here, it would still work because Google understands hoarding cleanup like that. I should have made my keyword with the hyphen. Okay, so that's what we get here, folks. We get this. We do a little work. We put some pictures in there, and then we just upload it right to the website. Okay, it's that simple. All right, so let me come back here. Let me stop sharing. Let me go back here. All right, so thank you all so much for showing up. I really appreciate it. I'm going to end the stream. We got another 30-minute video up now, and I use StreamYard. So if you're in business, I suggest if you're like on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, you got all these different accounts, StreamYard is really, really cool about it because it will go to all those areas. Do you know right now I'm going to 9 different places on the internet? I'm going to my Top Click Joe YouTube and Facebook. I'm going to Indoor Odor Pros one because I manage that Facebook page. We're on AI for the Underdog. I'm on my Joe Carvello Sorensen Facebook page, and I can also put it on LinkedIn and all of that, and my YouTube channel. So it's great doing this because it streams everywhere at one time, and now I got all this intellectual property I have now. So I have all this stuff from this video, and then I can start taking short bursts of this video, and I can make reels. I can make quick things on TikTok or like Facebook or YouTube Shorts, or I can also take this. I own software where I can write a whole ebook based on what I just said with pictures and the video, and it can be a flip book, right? I can do that, and I can give that away if I'm giving away something really valuable, right? To get people's email addresses, or I want to get an email list built up, and this is how I can do it. I'm giving away something very valuable, and so they're going to give me their name and their email, and now I can start marketing to them, as long as I don't over market, because people get upset with that. All right, 30 minutes in. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.